Every single day, you have a choice to wait for something to happen or to make it happen yourself. The hard truth is that nobody is coming to change your life for you. No one's going to hand you success. You are the only person who can make things happen for yourself. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But what if those people aren't pushing you to be better? What if no one is there to give you that extra nudge? That's when you realize it's all on you. If you want to achieve something in life, it's up to you to do the work. You can't keep waiting for someone to come save you. It's not going to happen. This book is about taking full responsibility for your life. It's about learning how to stand on your own, make your own decisions, and stop waiting for others to do the heavy lifting. It's about understanding that the only person who can truly help you is you. We're not here to offer empty promises or easy fixes. What we're going to do is show you exactly how to start taking control of your life today. The road isn't going to be easy, and there will be times when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. You might feel like no one is watching, no one is supporting you. But that's when you have to remind yourself, it's not about anyone else. It's about you. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it feels like no one else is around. That's when real growth happens. Too many people make excuses. They say they're waiting for the right moment, or for the right people, or for the perfect circumstances. But the truth is, there's never going to be a perfect moment. The only moment that matters is now. If you want to improve your life, you have to start today. Nobody is coming to do it for you. Success isn't about big, flashy moments. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, even when it's tough, and keeping yourself accountable. It's about being consistent, even when you don't feel like it. The small actions you take every day will add up over time, and that's where the real change happens. But here's the kicker, you have to do it alone. There will be times when no one else is cheering for you, when you feel like you're all on your own. And that's okay. That's where you build real strength. When you're alone, you discover what you're really made of. You find out how much you're willing to fight for yourself and your future. By the time you finish this book, you'll have everything you need to start taking control of your life. You'll know how to stop making excuses, how to take responsibility, and how to build the habits that will lead to success. But most importantly, you'll know how to trust yourself, how to rely on yourself, and how to stop waiting for someone else to do it for you. Because here's the truth, nobody else can do it for you. So you have to do it alone. And once you realize that, you'll see just how powerful you really are. It all starts with you. Chapter 1. No one is coming. Own that reality. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to pick you up, dust you off, and guide you step by step toward the life you want. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you take control. Too many people sit around waiting for someone to recognize their potential, to give them a chance, to offer a helping hand. They tell themselves that once the right opportunity comes along, everything will change. But nothing happens. Days turn into months, months into years, and they're still stuck in the same place, wondering why life hasn't worked out for them. Waiting is a trap. It gives you an excuse to do nothing while convincing yourself that you're being patient. You tell yourself that you're preparing, that the right time will come, that the right mentor will appear, that someday it will all make sense. But deep down, you know the truth. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you a new life. No one is coming to push you, to keep you accountable, to do the hard work for you. This is your fight. This is your responsibility. The harsh reality is that most people don't care about your struggles. Everyone is too busy dealing with their own problems, chasing their own goals, and managing their own lives. Even those who love you, your family, your friends, might want to help, but they can't live your life for you. They can't make the decisions that need to be made. They can't put in the work. They can't force you to change. If you don't take responsibility for yourself, no one else will. You might think that successful people had more help than you, that they had connections, resources, or luck. But the truth is, the ones who make it are the ones who stop waiting and start building. They don't sit around hoping for things to improve. They take action. They figure things out. They learn as they go. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's the willingness to step up and do what needs to be done, even when no one is watching. Excuses will keep you stuck. It's easy to blame circumstances, to say that life has been unfair, that you weren't given the same opportunities as others. But excuses don't change anything. They don't put money in your bank account. They don't build skills. They don't make you stronger. They just make you feel justified in doing nothing. If you keep looking for reasons why you can't move forward, you'll always find them. But if you shift your focus to what you can do, even if it's small, even if it's difficult, everything begins to change. Taking responsibility for your life is the most powerful decision you can make. It means accepting that no one is going to fix things for you. It means understanding that your success or failure is entirely up to you. And that's a good thing. Because when you stop waiting, when you stop expecting someone else to do the work, you realize how much power you actually have. You can start today, right now, with whatever you have. It doesn't matter if you feel unprepared, or if you don't know exactly what to do. What matters is that you start moving. People waste years looking for motivation, hoping for some spark that will suddenly make them unstoppable. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. If you depend on it, you'll never get anywhere. What you need is discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. The more you train yourself to take action regardless of how you feel, the easier it gets. Over time, you become the kind of person who gets things done, no matter what. This isn't about isolating yourself or rejecting help when it's offered. It's about understanding that help is never guaranteed, and you can't afford to depend on it. If someone supports you along the way, that's great. But if they don't, it doesn't change anything. You still have to do the work. You still have to figure it out. You still have to build the life you want with your own hands. Most people will never take full responsibility for their lives. They will always look for someone to blame, something to complain about, some reason why they couldn't make it. But you don't have to be like them. You can be the exception. You can decide, right now, that you will not wait, that you will not make excuses, that you will not waste another moment hoping for something outside of yourself to change. Because no one is coming. And that means it's all on you. Chapter 2. The problem is you, the solution is you. Everything in your life, your struggles, your successes, your failures, begins and ends with you. It's easy to believe that the problems you face are caused by outside forces, that life has been unfair, that circumstances have placed you at a disadvantage. But no matter how much you analyze, complain, or explain, the truth remains the same. You are both the problem and the solution. No one else can change your life for you. No one else is responsible for fixing what's broken. If you don't take control, nothing will ever change. Most people spend their lives searching for something or someone to blame. They look at their upbringing, their past mistakes, their lack of opportunities, and use those things as reasons why they haven't moved forward. They tell themselves that if only they had been born into a better situation, if only they had more support, if only things had gone differently, then life would be better. But none of that thinking leads anywhere. The past can't be changed, and waiting for perfect conditions is just another form of procrastination. The only way to move forward is to stop looking for something outside yourself and start focusing on what you can do right now. The truth is, taking full responsibility for your life is uncomfortable. It forces you to admit that every choice you've made has led you to this moment. It means accepting that no one else is to blame for where you are, no matter how unfair life may have been. But it also gives you power. Because if you are the reason for where you are, that means you have the ability to change it. The moment you stop making excuses and start looking for solutions, you take control of your future. People often wait until they feel ready to make changes. They tell themselves they need more time, more confidence, more knowledge before they can start. But waiting for the perfect moment is just another way to avoid taking action. The only way to become ready is to begin before you feel like it. No one ever feels fully prepared before they start something difficult. Growth comes from doing, not from waiting. You don't need more information. You don't need more motivation. What you need is to stop overthinking and start taking action. You already know what needs to be done. The problem is, you're avoiding it because it's hard. It's uncomfortable to push yourself. It's easier to stay in the same routine, even if that routine is leading you nowhere. But comfort never leads to growth. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting the same results. Change happens when you push through resistance, when you do the work even when you don't feel like it. Most people avoid taking full responsibility because it means they can no longer hide behind excuses. If you admit that you are in control, then you have to face the fact that your lack of progress is on you. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's much easier to blame circumstances, to focus on what's outside your control. But easy paths lead nowhere. If you want a different life, you have to make different choices. And that starts with looking in the mirror and owning every part of your reality. The fastest way to change your life is to stop arguing for your limitations. Stop telling yourself that you can't do it, that you don't have enough time, that things are too difficult. The more you reinforce those beliefs, the more they become your truth. Instead of focusing on why things won't work, start looking for how they can. Every obstacle has a way through it, but you won't find it if you're too busy making excuses for why you're stuck. Some people spend years waiting for permission to pursue what they want. They look for validation from others, hoping that someone will give them the green light to chase their dreams. But no one is going to give you permission. No one is going to tell you it's finally time. If you don't decide to step up, no one else will do it for you. The only permission you need is your own. You have to become the kind of person who refuses to quit. No matter how difficult things get, no matter how many times you fail, you keep going. Because the alternative is staying the same, and that's not an option. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the most talented, the most educated, or the most experienced. They are simply the ones who refuse to stop, the ones who keep moving forward even when everything is against them. Your life will only change when you decide to stop being a passenger and start being the driver. No one else can do it for you. No one else is responsible for fixing what's broken. It's on you to take control, to make the hard choices, to push through the discomfort. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to take action. Chapter 3. You are your only backup plan. The reality is, when everything falls apart, the only person who will still be there for you is yourself. People come and go. Friends might leave, family might not always understand, and colleagues might move on. In the end, you can't rely on anyone to be your constant, to be the person who carries you when the weight of the world feels too heavy. That responsibility lies solely with you. There's a kind of freedom in accepting that you are your only backup plan. It might sound harsh, but it's also empowering. Once you truly grasp this, you realize that everything you need to survive and thrive is already within your reach. You've spent so much time waiting for others to come through for you, but in the end, the only person who is truly reliable is yourself. And when you shift your mindset to this realization, you stop wasting time and energy hoping that someone will swoop in and save the day. The power is in your hands. Too many people look to others to complete them. They search for relationships, mentors, or teams that will make them whole, thinking that their success will be a result of someone else's efforts. But no one else can fix your problems. No one else can live your life. The work, the effort, the commitment, it's all yours. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can take control of your destiny. This doesn't mean that help and support aren't valuable. There's nothing wrong with seeking advice or building a network of people who believe in you. But you can't live your life depending on others to get you through. When you rely too much on outside sources, you lose sight of your own abilities, your own strength. The real power comes when you realize you have everything you need within you. The skills, the wisdom, the resilience, all of that is something you can cultivate. But it starts with the belief that you are your own backup plan. Imagine what would happen if you stopped looking to others for permission or validation. What if you decided to trust yourself, to take full responsibility for the direction of your life? The possibilities are endless. Instead of waiting for someone to open the door for you, you start creating your own opportunities. Instead of waiting for someone to pull you out of the mud, you start learning how to crawl out on your own. When you stop waiting for someone else to do the work for you, you stop being a passive observer in your own life. You become the active creator of your reality. Think about how often you've relied on others for support. Maybe you've turned to friends when you were struggling emotionally, or to colleagues when you needed help with a project. There's nothing wrong with seeking help, but relying too heavily on others can make you weak. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that someone else has the answers, that someone else knows the way. But the truth is, no one knows your life like you do. No one has the unique combination of strengths, weaknesses, and experiences that you have. And no one can make the choices you need to make, but you. The moment you stop looking outside yourself for solutions is the moment you take your power back. You start to trust your instincts, your judgment, and your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. You stop waiting for a rescue and start rescuing yourself. It's about standing tall, even when everything feels like it's crumbling around you. It's about knowing that no matter how tough things get, you have the strength to push through. No one can do that for you. No one can build your resilience, your courage, or your determination. Only you can do that. The hardest part of being your own backup plan is getting comfortable with the idea of being alone in your struggles. It's tempting to seek comfort in the company of others when things go wrong. It's natural to want someone to talk to, someone to lean on, but there's a kind of peace that comes with knowing you are enough on your own. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can rise above the chaos. You stop being dependent on outside sources for your happiness, your fulfillment, or your success. You take control of your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. When you rely on others to hold you up, you risk falling when they're not there. But when you build yourself into your own backup plan, you create an inner strength that no one can take away. You become the kind of person who can weather any storm, who can keep moving forward even when the world around them seems to be falling apart. You stop waiting for someone else to come and save you because you know you can save yourself. It's also about owning your decisions, both the good and the bad. When things go wrong, it's easy to blame others. It's easy to point fingers, to say that someone else made a mistake, that someone else didn't pull their weight. But blaming others keeps you stuck. It keeps you powerless. The moment you accept that you are the one who ultimately controls your fate is the moment you can make real change. You stop complaining about what's wrong and start taking the steps to make things right. It's not about shutting people out of your life or refusing to let anyone in. It's about understanding that the person who will always have your back, who will always show up for you, is yourself. You're the one who has to wake up every morning and take responsibility for your actions. You're the one who has to make the hard choices, who has to push through when things get tough. If you've been waiting for someone else to make your dreams come true, start making them happen yourself. When you realize that you are your own backup plan, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to begin. You stop seeking approval from others. You stop thinking that you need more time, more resources, more guidance. You start moving forward with what you have, because you know that you are enough. You can handle whatever comes your way. You've got this. No one can do it for you. And that's the best part. It means the power to change your life has always been in your hands. You've always had everything you need. You just needed to believe in yourself enough to take that first step and to keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Chapter 4. Doing it alone. Why it's your greatest advantage. When you realize that doing it alone is your greatest advantage, you unlock a whole new level of potential. There's a strange sense of freedom that comes from relying on no one but yourself. It might feel intimidating at first, but it's the key to building true strength. When you're solely responsible for your success, there's no one to blame, no one to wait on, and no one to hold you back. You become the architect of your own life, and with that comes a power that nothing or no one can take away from you. Most people avoid the idea of going it alone because it feels like too much. They think they need support, advice, encouragement from others to succeed. But the more you rely on external sources, the more you become dependent on things outside your control. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you need someone else's approval, someone else's guidance, someone else's help. But in reality, you're only putting your destiny in someone else's hands. And that's never a good place to be. There's an overwhelming sense of satisfaction that comes from solving your own problems. It's easy to let fear of failure hold you back, to let the unknown paralyze you. But every time you push through that discomfort, every time you make a decision without waiting for permission, you grow, you learn, you build resilience. And that resilience is the foundation of everything you'll accomplish in life. The truth is, when you depend on other people too much, you're giving away your power. You're putting your goals, your dreams, and your life in their hands. But what happens if they let you down? What if they're not there when you need them? What happens when they're too busy with their own lives to offer the support you think you need? Then you're left with nothing but the realization that you were never in control. You were just waiting for someone else to take the wheel. When you make the choice to do it alone, you take ownership of everything that happens in your life. It's up to you whether you succeed or fail. It's up to you whether you stay stuck or move forward. There's no one else to blame, no one else to point the finger at. And that's exactly what gives you the power to change your life. It forces you to take action, to stop waiting, to stop hoping for someone to come and give you a hand. It makes you stronger because you know that you are the only one who can truly control your destiny. Taking the solo route forces you to build new muscles. When you've been used to relying on others, the first few steps of independence can be uncomfortable. It's easy to doubt yourself, to second-guess every decision, to wonder if you've made the right choice. But that discomfort is exactly what helps you grow. It's what builds your confidence. It's what shows you that you can do things you never thought possible. There's a saying that goes, "The best way out is always through." It's true. The more you push through on your own, the more you realize that you are capable of handling whatever life throws your way. Each time you prove to yourself that you can get through a tough situation without relying on someone else, you build trust in your own abilities. You stop looking for someone to pick you up and realize that you can stand on your own 2 feet. When you do things for yourself, there's no room for excuses. There's no one to fall back on when things get tough. If you don't show up, nothing gets done. The clock keeps ticking, and the opportunities continue to slip by. That can feel heavy, but it's also incredibly liberating. You realize that the only thing standing in your way is yourself. No more waiting for permission, no more hoping for a sign. It's all on you, and that's where your real power lies. Some people fear that going it alone means they'll never get the help they need, that they'll have to face everything on their own. But the truth is, you never truly face anything alone. The skills you develop when you take full responsibility for your life, self-reliance, problem-solving, resilience, are the things that will help you navigate every situation you encounter. You might not always have a support system or someone to help you out, but you always have your own resourcefulness. And that's more than enough. The world constantly tells you that you need to be part of something bigger, that you can't succeed unless you're in a team, that you need others to help you get ahead. But in the quiet moments when it's just you and your thoughts, you realize that your greatest asset is your ability to show up for yourself. No one else can make your dreams happen. They can offer advice, they can lend a hand, but when it comes down to it, the decisions you make and the actions you take are what will determine your success. The world is full of distractions, noise and opinions. It's easy to get lost in the chaos and to think that you need someone else's perspective to make sense of things. But when you choose to rely on yourself, you cut through all that noise. You learn to trust your own instincts, to follow your gut, and to make decisions that align with your vision, not someone else's. And even when you do encounter setbacks, because you will, everyone does, you learn how to handle them with grace and strength. There's no panic, no sense of helplessness. Instead, you take a step back, evaluate the situation, and figure out your next move. Because you know that at the end of the day, you're the one who will make things happen. You're the one who will pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. This process isn't always easy, but it's worth it. It forces you to be resourceful, to be creative, and to develop a level of self-trust that no one can take away from you. It teaches you the kind of resilience that will allow you to face any challenge that comes your way, and it gives you the confidence to know that no matter what happens, you can handle it. The greatest advantage of doing it alone is the power you gain by doing so. You become your own greatest ally. You stop seeking approval from others. You stop waiting for someone else to show you the way. You start believing in yourself, in your ability to take charge of your life and make it exactly what you want it to be. And that is a freedom like no other. When you stop waiting for others to lead you, you realize that you were always meant to lead yourself. Chapter 5. Silence the noise. How to stop seeking validation. You'll never be truly free until you stop seeking validation from others. It's an invisible chain, wrapping itself tighter with every comment, every like, every nod of approval. And yet, we all fall into this trap. We all want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. It's human nature, but somewhere along the way, we forget that the most important validation doesn't come from others. It comes from within. Think about how often you find yourself checking for reassurance. Maybe you send a text or post something online, hoping for a response, hoping that someone will say, "Good job." Maybe it's a comment on your appearance, a compliment on your work, or a simple "I see you." It feels good in the moment. But when that validation is the foundation of your self-worth, you're building on shaky ground. It's always external, always dependent on the whims and opinions of others. And when that approval doesn't come, you're left feeling empty, unsure, or worse, unworthy. In truth, seeking validation is a trap. It distracts you from your true purpose. When you rely on others for confirmation, you lose sight of your own values. You begin to measure your worth by how others see you rather than by how you see yourself. This external validation can feel validating. Yes, but it is fleeting. It doesn't last. Once the praise fades, so too does the satisfaction. The cycle starts again, and before long, you realize you're chasing something that can never truly fulfill you. But there is a way out. It begins with recognizing that your worth is not determined by others. You are not defined by how many people approve of you or how many likes you get. Your value comes from who you are, not from what anyone else thinks of you. The only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. You are enough, as you are, right now. It takes courage to stop seeking approval. It takes strength to look at your life and say, "I don't need anyone else to tell me I'm doing well. I know I'm on the right path because I believe in myself." This doesn't mean rejecting help, advice, or constructive criticism. It means you stop relying on others to tell you that you're okay, to reassure you that you're doing the right thing. You stop handing out your power to anyone who comes along. You trust yourself to know what's best for you. One of the most freeing things you can do for yourself is to stop measuring your success against someone else's standards. In the age of social media, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You scroll through endless feeds of seemingly perfect lives, perfectly curated images, and perfect moments. You begin to question if you measure up. You begin to wonder if you're doing enough, if you're good enough. But the truth is, no one's life is as perfect as it looks. And even if it were, their success doesn't take away from yours. When you stop seeking validation, you stop comparing yourself to others. You realize that your journey is uniquely yours. No one else's timeline matters. No one else's accomplishments, no matter how impressive, should be the yardstick by which you measure your own progress. You have your own path to walk, your own goals to pursue, and the only thing that matters is your belief in your ability to achieve them. There's a quiet confidence that comes from not needing to prove yourself to anyone. When you no longer need validation, you stop trying to impress, to prove you're worthy. Instead, you focus on the things that truly matter, your growth, your happiness, your goals. You start living your life on your terms. No more trying to fit into someone else's mold. No more wondering if you're good enough for someone else's standards. You start showing up for yourself. This shift isn't always easy. Our need for external approval is deeply ingrained. It's been taught to us since childhood, through school, family, and society. We're conditioned to seek validation from others as a way of confirming that we're on the right track. But the moment you stop seeking that external validation, you begin to reclaim your power. You begin to trust yourself in a way that's rare and invaluable. It doesn't mean you won't face moments of doubt. Everyone does. There will be times when you question whether you're making the right decisions, or if you're enough. But the key is to recognize those doubts for what they are: temporary. They are not reflections of your worth. They are just moments of uncertainty. When you validate yourself, you have a foundation to fall back on when doubts creep in. You remind yourself that you are enough, and you don't need anyone else to tell you that. If you want to stop seeking validation, you need to start setting boundaries, not just with other people, but with your own thoughts. Your mind will try to convince you that you need external approval to be happy. It will tell you that if people don't notice your efforts, they're not worth anything. But you have to learn to shut out those voices, both external and internal. You have to learn to trust that your efforts are enough, that your work is valuable, that your voice matters, even when no one else hears it. It's about building an inner strength, a self-belief that doesn't waver in the face of uncertainty. When you stop seeking validation, you stop seeking approval. You stop putting your happiness and your worth in the hands of others, and you start putting it in your own hands. You begin to realize that the opinions of others don't define you. What defines you is your commitment to yourself, your willingness to grow, and your ability to stand tall without needing anyone to tell you it's okay. It's a process, it's a journey, and it's one you can take one step at a time. You can start by making small changes. When you feel the urge to seek approval, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, why do I need this validation? What am I hoping to prove? Often you'll find that the need for validation comes from a place of insecurity or fear. Recognizing this is the first step in breaking free. The next step is to focus on your progress, not your perfection. No one is perfect, and that's okay. It's not about getting everything right. It's about moving forward, learning and growing. When you start focusing on your own growth, rather than seeking approval, you'll notice how much freer you feel. You'll stop living for others and start living for yourself. Eventually you'll reach a point where you no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You'll stop worrying about whether others approve of your decisions. You'll stop seeking validation because you know deep down that you don't need it. You'll have a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout for attention. It will speak for itself in everything you do. Remember, validation is something that comes from within. It's not about needing someone else to tell you that you're enough. It's about knowing it yourself. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. And once you realize that, you'll stop seeking validation from others. You'll stop looking for approval, because you'll already know you are enough. Chapter 6. Build a mindset that can't be broken. Strength isn't something you can borrow from others. It's not something that can be handed to you on a silver platter or passed down through advice. True strength comes from within. It's built through experience, through struggle, and through the quiet moments when no one is watching. The strength you need to succeed, to endure, and to grow isn't found outside of you. It's found in the way you choose to show up every single day, no matter what. We're all tested at some point in our lives. There will be moments when everything feels like it's falling apart, when every obstacle seems insurmountable, and when the world feels like it's pressing down on you. It's easy in those moments to feel defeated, to question yourself, to wonder if you have what it takes to push through. But here's the truth. You have more strength within you than you realize. It's buried deep beneath all of your doubts, fears, and insecurities, and it's waiting for you to tap into it. What happens when you face a challenge, a real test, is that it reveals who you are. It doesn't create your character, it shows you what you're made of. It's in these moments of struggle that you discover the depths of your resilience. You may not see it at first, but every time you face something difficult and refuse to back down, you're building an inner strength that will carry you through whatever comes next. The process of developing an unbreakable mindset starts with the simple decision to keep going. It sounds straightforward, but it's not easy. Every fiber of your being might scream for you to stop, to rest, to give up. But the key to mastering yourself is the ability to quiet those voices of doubt. It's knowing that you are capable of handling more than you think, that you can overcome the challenges life throws at you. It's in those moments of hesitation that you choose to move forward anyway. You choose to take the next step, even if you don't know where it will lead. The first step to building a mindset that can't be broken is to acknowledge that challenges are inevitable. Life isn't fair, it's not always kind, but it's how you respond to those challenges that defines you. When things get hard, when you feel like giving up, you have a choice. You can either let the difficulty break you, or you can let it mold you into someone stronger. This isn't about pretending that pain doesn't exist, or that struggles aren't real. It's about accepting that hardship is a part of the human experience. Everyone faces it, whether it's personal, professional, or emotional. What makes the difference is how you respond. Do you let it control you, or do you take control of it? The more you choose to face your challenges head-on, the stronger you become. There's a power in embracing discomfort. It's easy to want to run away from pain or difficulty, but the truth is, discomfort is where growth happens. Every time you push yourself beyond your limits, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally, you expand what you're capable of. You grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. It's like lifting weights. The more you push your muscles, the stronger they get. The same principle applies to your mind. One of the hardest things to accept is that you can't always control your circumstances. Sometimes, life just throws things at you that you didn't expect. You can't change the fact that the situation is difficult, but what you can control is how you respond to it. Your mindset is yours to shape. You get to decide whether you will let the challenges define you, or if you will use them as fuel to grow. In those moments when life seems overwhelming, the key is to find your center. It's easy to get swept up in the chaos of the moment, to react impulsively, or to let your emotions take over. But when you take a deep breath and pause, when you allow yourself to assess the situation without the cloud of panic or frustration, you give yourself the opportunity to respond from a place of strength. When you slow down and regain control of your thoughts, you realize that you can handle anything. No matter how tough things get, you have the power to rise above it. Resilience doesn't mean that you won't feel pain or fear. It means that you don't let those things stop you. It means that no matter how hard life gets, you don't quit. You don't throw in the towel and walk away. Instead, you find a way to keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. You trust yourself enough to know that you can handle whatever comes next, even if you're scared. And that's the secret to developing an unbreakable mindset. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to keep going, even when you feel afraid. Every time you face a challenge and choose to push through, you build resilience. You develop a mindset that doesn't break under pressure, that doesn't crumble when things get tough. And over time, you become someone who no longer crumbles under pressure, who no longer shies away from hardship. You become someone who sees challenges as opportunities to grow, rather than obstacles to avoid. A big part of building an unbreakable mindset is learning how to handle failure. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's a part of the journey. No one succeeds on their first try. Every successful person you admire has failed countless times. But they didn't let that failure define them. They used it as a stepping stone to move forward. And you can do the same. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's just a moment in time. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to try again, better and stronger than before. It's important to stop seeing failure as something to fear and start seeing it as an essential part of the process. If you're not failing, you're not growing. If you're not taking risks, you're not pushing yourself to be better. The most successful people in the world are the ones who failed the most because they understand that failure isn't permanent. It's just a temporary setback, a chance to learn and try again. Building mental toughness isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about developing a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities, that embraces discomfort as a catalyst for growth. The more you practice this, the stronger you'll become. The more you build the muscle of resilience, the easier it becomes to face whatever comes your way. One of the most powerful things you can do to develop an unbreakable mindset is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We all want to avoid pain, discomfort, and struggle, but those things are what shape us into stronger individuals. The more you push yourself out of your comfort zone, the more you'll discover what you're truly capable of, and the more you'll realize that there is nothing in this world that can break you. Not fear, not failure, not even the hardest of times. You are stronger than you think. And the more you trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, the more unbreakable you will become. The journey to building a mindset that can't be broken isn't quick or easy, but every step you take on that journey makes you stronger. Every challenge you face, every setback you overcome, every failure you bounce back from, it all adds up. And one day, you'll look back and realize that you've become someone who no longer crumbles under pressure, who no longer lets fear dictate your actions. You'll become someone who knows, without a doubt, that you are capable of handling anything life throws your way. And that's a mindset that no one can take away from you. Chapter 7. No excuses, no complaints, no victimhood. Life isn't kind to those who wait for things to happen. The world doesn't slow down because you're facing difficulties or because things don't seem fair. No one cares whether you're having a hard time, and no one is going to come and rescue you from your struggles. This harsh truth is liberating because it shifts the responsibility back to you. The sooner you accept that no one is coming to save you, the sooner you'll understand that everything you want in life is up to you. If you've been waiting for someone to step in and help you out, or if you've been making excuses about why things aren't working out, now's the time to stop. Life doesn't wait for you to catch up, and neither should you. There's a freedom in realizing that you are the one who holds the keys to your future. No one can fix your life but you. That doesn't mean it's easy, but it does mean it's possible. When you take full ownership of your life and stop looking for someone to blame or someone to solve your problems, you start to realize that you have the power to change everything. You can't keep playing the victim. Complaining about your circumstances will not change a single thing. It's easy to fall into a mindset where you think that the world is against you, that everything seems stacked up against your success. But the moment you begin to look at life this way, you remove the responsibility from yourself. You tell yourself that there is nothing you can do because the world is too unfair, too difficult, and too harsh. But that mindset keeps you stuck. It holds you back from realizing your full potential. The only thing that's stopping you is the belief that someone else has control over your life. The truth is, it's your choices that matter. It's your actions that determine the path you walk. There's no magic moment when everything just clicks into place. It's all about the choices you make and how you show up for yourself every day. It's about taking responsibility for your life and realizing that the only one who can change it is you. No one is going to come and do it for you. This might sound harsh, but it's empowering. The fact that no one else can do it for you means that you are the one in charge. You are the one who can make things happen. You're the one who has the ability to decide whether or not you move forward. Every excuse you've been using to stay stuck, every reason you've given for not achieving your goals, it all goes away once you realize that you are the one who's been holding yourself back. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to do everything on your own. There will be people along the way who will offer support, advice, or help, but ultimately, the responsibility for your life rests with you. When things get tough, when the road ahead seems uncertain, it's your responsibility to keep moving. No one is going to come and lift you up every time you fall down. You need to learn to pick yourself up and keep going, no matter what. This is the reality of personal growth. It's not about waiting for someone to save you, it's about taking action and pushing through on your own. When you start to take ownership of your life, you stop waiting for someone else to change your circumstances. You stop looking for external validation or waiting for someone to tell you that you're doing a good job. You realize that you don't need anyone's approval. You start doing what you need to do for yourself, regardless of whether anyone notices. When you do this, you begin to build a life that is truly your own. You start living for yourself, not for others. There's a certain power that comes from taking full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your life. Once you stop blaming external circumstances for your situation, you take control. You become the person who can make things happen. You're no longer at the mercy of your circumstances, and that is a huge shift in mindset. When you start to take ownership of everything in your life, you stop waiting for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, or the right person to come along and make things easier. You realize that the perfect moment is now. The time to take action is now. You are the one who decides what happens next. The power of taking responsibility for your life is not just about making things happen, it's about building the mental toughness and resilience to face whatever comes your way. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop making excuses. You stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you take action. Instead, you begin to push through the discomfort and uncertainty because you understand that nothing worth having is ever handed to you easily. You begin to embrace the struggle because you know that the struggle is what makes you stronger. The excuses you've been using up until now, whether they're about your job, your relationships, or your personal goals, are just ways of avoiding responsibility. They're ways of telling yourself that someone or something else is responsible for where you are. But once you realize that no one is coming to save you, you stop relying on excuses. You stop waiting for the stars to align or for someone to give you permission to succeed. You take ownership of your life and start making things happen. This doesn't mean that everything will be easy. In fact, things may get harder before they get better. But the difference is that now you know you're in control. You understand that it's your decisions, your actions, and your mindset that will determine the outcome. The power to change your life is in your hands. When you take full ownership of your life, you realize that you are the one who decides how you respond to every challenge that comes your way. The beauty of this is that once you start taking responsibility for everything in your life, you begin to see the world differently. You stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks, and instead you start to see them as opportunities. Opportunities to prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can overcome anything, and that you don't need anyone's help to succeed. It's all about shifting your mindset from one of dependence to one of independence. It's about realizing that the only person you need to rely on is yourself. You have everything you need inside of you to make your dreams a reality. It's just up to you to step up, take action, and keep moving forward. No one can do it for you. Only you can make it happen. So stop waiting for someone to come along and fix your life. Take control, take responsibility, and make the life you want to live. Chapter 8. Build the habit of relentless execution. There's a difference between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it. Most people understand what they should be doing, but only a small percentage take the necessary action. It's easy to make plans, set goals, and talk about what you want to achieve. The difficult part is executing those plans day in and day out. You can't build success on just good intentions. You can't rely on motivation to get you through. Motivation is a fleeting feeling. It comes and goes, but consistency, discipline, and relentless execution, that's what leads to long-term progress. Execution is the engine that drives everything forward. It doesn't matter how great your ideas are, or how ambitious your dreams may seem, if you don't put in the work to make them happen. Without execution, those ideas will stay nothing more than fantasies. Success doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you commit to doing the work, no matter how difficult it seems or how uninspiring it feels in the moment. There are days when you're not going to feel like putting in the effort. There are times when you'll want to take shortcuts or give up entirely. But in those moments, the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: execution. Building the habit of relentless execution doesn't require you to work yourself into the ground. It doesn't mean you have to push yourself to the point of exhaustion every single day. It's about consistency and making progress, even if it's small. It's about showing up every day, regardless of how you feel, and doing the work that will eventually get you to your goals. Progress isn't always linear. Some days will be better than others, but if you continue to show up, you'll get where you need to be. The key to relentless execution is understanding that you are in control of your actions. No one else can force you to take action. No one else can hold you accountable for your progress. It's entirely up to you. If you wait for someone else to push you or motivate you, you're setting yourself up for failure. No one else cares as much about your goals as you do. It's your dream, your future, your success, and it's your responsibility to make it happen. Execution doesn't have to be perfect. Perfectionism can often be a roadblock to progress because it paralyzes you with fear of doing things wrong. But the truth is, you'll never get everything right the first time. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep going. The moment you stop executing because you're afraid of failure is the moment you stop moving forward. The fear of failure can be crippling, but it's also what keeps so many people stuck. Perfectionism makes you afraid to take action because you're terrified of making a mistake, but in reality, it's the mistakes that teach you the most. When you commit to executing your plans, you'll begin to see that perfection is overrated. What really matters is making progress, learning from your mistakes, and continuing to move forward. You don't have to have everything figured out at the start. You just need to start. The most successful people didn't wait until they were ready. They took action, figured things out along the way, and adjusted course when necessary. One of the best ways to build the habit of relentless execution is to make it a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. When you treat execution like a habit, it becomes automatic. You don't think twice about whether or not you're going to do something because you've already committed to doing it. The key is to make small commitments to yourself each day and follow through with them. It doesn't matter how insignificant the task might seem in the moment. What matters is that you've shown up and done the work. If you make a habit of showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, your actions will compound over time. Small actions lead to big results. There will be days when you'll want to skip the work, when you'll convince yourself that it's not a big deal. But those are the days when your commitment to execution will be tested the most. The goal isn't to feel motivated every day. Motivation is unreliable. The goal is to build the discipline to execute, no matter what. When you make execution a daily habit, you stop relying on motivation. You begin to rely on your discipline to get you through even the toughest days. One of the most powerful aspects of execution is that it builds momentum. The more you execute, the more confidence you build. You start to see the results of your efforts, and that fuels your desire to keep going. But it all starts with the decision to show up. The longer you wait to take action, the harder it becomes to start. But once you start, you'll begin to see that the work isn't as difficult as you once thought. Execution isn't about doing everything at once or trying to achieve perfection. It's about making consistent progress, no matter how small, toward your goals. There's another important element to execution, and that's prioritization. You can't do everything at once. You need to focus on the tasks that will bring you the most value and move you closest to your goals. Execution is about making the right decisions about where to spend your time and energy. If you're spending your time on tasks that don't matter, you're not executing effectively. Effective execution requires that you know what's important and what isn't. It's about learning how to say no to distractions and saying yes to the tasks that will move the needle forward. In the beginning, execution might feel like a chore. It might feel like you're not getting anywhere. But over time, you'll start to see the impact of your efforts. The more you execute, the more you'll develop the habits that lead to success. And the more you see progress, the more you'll want to keep executing. It's a cycle that builds upon itself, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. If you want to see change in your life, it starts with execution. Your ideas are only as good as the actions you take to bring them to life. Don't wait for the perfect time or for motivation to strike. Execute now and make the most of every opportunity you have. You are the one who has the power to create change, and it all starts with taking the first step. Keep going, even when it's tough. Trust the process, and above all, keep executing relentlessly. This is how you build the life you've always wanted. One step at a time, one action at a time, and with relentless execution. Chapter 9. Train yourself to show up, no matter what. There are days when you wake up and feel like staying in bed, when the comfort of blankets and the warmth of sleep seem much more inviting than the responsibilities and tasks ahead. It's tempting to hit snooze on life and hope that things will just work themselves out. But deep down, you know that nothing worthwhile happens when you refuse to show up. The real power comes not in waiting for the right time or the right motivation, but in committing to show up, even when everything in you is telling you to take the easy way out. The ability to push through those moments when you feel like giving up or staying comfortable is the one thing that will set you apart from everyone else. There's no magic formula that guarantees success, no secret trick that will instantly make everything fall into place. Success is the sum of consistent actions taken, even when you don't feel like it, even when things aren't going well, and even when your body or your mind says otherwise. The real key to growth, achievement, and success is the ability to show up every day, regardless of how you feel, and put in the work. It's simple, but not easy. Every successful person has gone through moments where they didn't want to get up, didn't want to face the day, and didn't want to put in the effort. But they did it anyway. They understood that the act of showing up is the first step to turning dreams into reality. The hardest part isn't necessarily the work itself. It's overcoming the resistance that arises in the mind. That little voice that tells you to wait, to rest, or to just put things off for another day. We all experience this inner resistance, and it can be a powerful force that holds us back from doing what we know we should be doing. But the moment you make the decision to push past that voice, to choose action over inaction, you unlock a power within you that moves mountains. The people who succeed aren't always the most talented or the luckiest. They're simply the ones who kept showing up when others didn't. In moments of doubt, when you feel like giving up or walking away, remember that the people you admire and look up to didn't get there by choosing the easy path. They chose the difficult one. They chose the path that required sacrifice, discipline, and relentless effort. They chose to show up every day, even when it seemed like the world wasn't on their side. That's the real difference. It's the commitment to show up, to do the work, to stay consistent, even when things don't feel ideal. It's the ability to rely on your own willpower and discipline to push through those rough patches. One of the most powerful things about showing up, even when you don't feel like it, is that it builds momentum. It's like a snowball effect. The more you show up, the easier it becomes to continue. Every time you push through the resistance and take action, no matter how small, you create a positive feedback loop that fuels your drive. You begin to build confidence in yourself and your ability to overcome obstacles. When you consistently show up, even on days when you don't feel motivated or when things aren't going your way, you are teaching yourself to trust your process. You start to see that the act of showing up is often the hardest part. Once you get started, you realize that the rest of the task is not as intimidating as it first seemed. Your ability to show up is directly linked to your self-discipline. Discipline is the muscle that allows you to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's about making the right decisions, even when your emotions are telling you to do something else. Discipline is about making your actions line up with your values and goals, even when the immediate payoff is not obvious. It's easy to do the things you feel like doing. It's easy to give in to distractions or let yourself be swayed by short-term comfort. But discipline is what keeps you focused on the long-term vision. It's the ability to see the bigger picture and act accordingly. Building this muscle of discipline isn't about trying to be perfect. It's about showing up, even when you don't want to. Every time you choose to take action, even when it's difficult, you're strengthening your discipline. Over time, you'll find that showing up becomes second nature. The more you practice it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. The people who succeed aren't those who have the most talent or the most resources. They're the ones who consistently show up, who have developed the ability to make the right choices, even when the conditions aren't ideal. And that's something you can cultivate in yourself. Consistency, above all else, is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's easy to start something, to get excited, to dive in with enthusiasm. But true success comes from sticking with it, even when the initial excitement fades. When the novelty wears off and you're left with the reality of hard work, that's when most people quit. The ones who succeed are the ones who keep showing up, even when they don't feel like it. They have learned that the initial excitement doesn't matter in the long run. What matters is doing the work, day after day, even when it's not glamorous. But showing up doesn't just mean physically being there. It means mentally committing to the task at hand. It means showing up with a focused mind, ready to give your best effort. It's easy to show up and go through the motions, but the real power lies in giving your full attention to what you're doing. When you show up with presence, with intention, you maximize the impact of your actions. You stop wasting time and energy on distractions, and you direct all of your focus on what matters most. It's also important to remember that showing up isn't just about work. It's about showing up for yourself, for your growth, for your future. It's about showing up for the person you want to become. When you consistently show up for yourself, you're making a statement to the world and to yourself that you're committed to your own success. You're telling yourself that your goals matter. You're telling yourself that your future is worth fighting for. The act of showing up isn't just a physical action, it's a declaration of your commitment to your own journey. There will be days when it feels impossible, when you feel exhausted, uninspired or overwhelmed. Those are the days when showing up means the most. It's easy to show up when you're motivated and everything is going smoothly, but the true test comes when you're facing obstacles, when you feel like the world is against you. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones keep showing up on those tough days. They understand that their commitment is bigger than their temporary feelings or circumstances. So make the decision now. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more hoping for motivation to strike. The moment you decide to show up, to give your best effort regardless of how you feel, you take control of your life. You take the first step toward your goals, toward the person you want to become. It won't always be easy, and there will be days when it feels impossible, but the more you practice showing up, the more you'll see that it's the key to everything. The power is in your hands, and it all begins with the choice to show up. Every day. No excuses. Just show up. Chapter 10. Master your time. Nobody else will do it for you. Your time is the most precious resource you have. It is not renewable, and once it's gone forever. Every single day you make a choice, whether consciously or unconsciously, about how you use your time. The way you spend your time dictates the direction of your life, so it's critical to take control of it. If you're not actively managing your time, you're letting it slip away without fully realizing the consequences. It's easy to fall into the trap of wasting time, telling yourself that you'll get things done tomorrow or that you'll figure it out later. But the truth is, if you don't master your time now, you will spend your life reacting to circumstances rather than creating the life you want. It's incredibly easy to get distracted in today's world. With constant notifications, emails, social media, and endless entertainment options, it feels like there's always something vying for your attention. You can spend hours scrolling, watching videos, or simply going down a rabbit hole on the internet without even realizing it. But when you take a step back and really look at how much time you've wasted, it can be eye-opening. The problem isn't that you don't have time, it's that you're not being intentional with how you use it. The good news is that this is something you can change at any moment. The first step is realizing that you have the power to manage your time. Once you make the decision to take control, your life will begin to shift in ways you never thought possible. Time management isn't just about getting things done, it's about prioritizing what matters most. If you don't know what your priorities are, then everything will seem urgent and you'll end up spending your time on the wrong things. When you wake up in the morning, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want your life to look like 6 months or a year from now? These are the questions that will guide how you spend your time. If you're unclear on your goals, it's easy to let other people's agendas take over your day. It's easy to say yes to things you don't care about, to get caught up in other people's priorities, and to lose track of your own path. But when you get crystal clear on what matters to you, it becomes much easier to direct your energy where it counts. One of the most powerful tools for managing your time is to plan ahead. You can't just drift through your days and expect meaningful results. If you want to make real progress, you need to take the time to plan your day, your week, and even your month. Planning helps you stay focused, and it allows you to align your actions with your goals. It's not about scheduling every minute of your day or making a rigid plan that leaves no room for flexibility. It's about creating a roadmap that keeps you on track, ensuring that you're consistently working toward what you want. Planning your time also helps you avoid the common trap of overcommitting yourself. It's easy to say yes to every opportunity or request that comes your way, but that leads to burnout and overwhelm. Learning how to say no is just as important as learning how to say yes to the right things. Being mindful of how you spend your time also means being aware of your energy levels. It's not enough to simply know what you need to do. You also need to consider when you're most productive during the day. Some people work best in the morning, while others are more focused in the afternoon or evening. If you want to maximize your output, you need to schedule your most important tasks during your peak hours. For example, if you know that you're most focused first thing in the morning, then that's when you should tackle your most important work. On the other hand, if you find that you're better at handling routine tasks in the evening, schedule those for later in the day. Understanding how your energy works will help you allocate your time in a way that makes you more efficient. You also have to recognize the need for rest. You might think that working longer hours or pushing yourself to the limit will get you ahead, but that's not sustainable. When you neglect rest, your productivity and creativity will suffer. It's not just about taking breaks during the day, it's about having time for recovery too. Your body and mind need time to recharge in order to stay sharp. This doesn't mean you should procrastinate or avoid work, but you have to make sure that you're not burning yourself out. Creating a healthy balance between work and rest is crucial for maintaining long-term productivity and mental clarity. Time management also involves being flexible. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and sometimes unexpected events will throw off your schedule. Instead of getting frustrated when things don't go as expected, learn how to adapt. Flexibility is an important skill because it allows you to stay calm and composed even when things get chaotic. It's not about rigidly sticking to a schedule, but rather adjusting as needed while still staying focused on your overall goals. Being flexible doesn't mean abandoning your priorities. It means being able to roll with the punches without losing sight of your bigger vision. There's another powerful concept when it comes to time management, the idea of eliminating distractions. Distractions are one of the biggest time killers. They might not seem like much in the moment, but over time they add up. Every time you get distracted, it takes time to refocus. If you're constantly checking your phone, reading emails, or engaging in small talk, you're losing precious minutes and hours. One of the most effective ways to manage your time is to create an environment that supports focus. This means setting up boundaries both physically and mentally. Turn off notifications, create a workspace that minimizes distractions, and set boundaries with the people around you. It's also about training your mind to focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking sounds like a good idea, but studies show that it actually reduces productivity. Focusing on one task at a time allows you to be more efficient and effective with your time. Time management isn't just about how you schedule your tasks, it's about managing your mindset. If you don't believe that you can control your time, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you approach time management with a sense of ownership and control, it empowers you to take charge of your day. It's about shifting from a mindset of passivity to one of active engagement. When you take responsibility for how you spend your time, you stop blaming external circumstances for your lack of progress. You stop waiting for the right time to start and instead take action right now. Remember that time is the one resource that once spent can never be regained. You don't get back the hours you waste, so every moment you spend being intentional with your time is an investment in your future. Whether it's working on a project, learning a new skill, spending time with loved ones, or resting, every action you take today shapes your tomorrow. Be conscious of how you allocate your time. Stop letting it slip through your fingers. Your future self will thank you for taking control of your time now. Time waits for no one, and the choices you make today will determine where you are tomorrow. Take that responsibility seriously and make every moment count. Chapter 11. Hard choices. Easy life. Easy choices. Hard life. Life is a series of choices, and those choices shape who we are and where we end up. The choices we make, day after day, can either move us toward the life we want or keep us stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. It's easy to fall into the trap of making the easy choice, the one that requires the least effort or discomfort. But those easy choices are often the ones that lead to a harder life in the long run. The difficult choice, the one that feels uncomfortable in the moment, is often the one that leads to growth, success, and fulfillment. The truth is, making hard choices now leads to an easier life later. On the other hand, making the easy choice now leads to a harder life down the road. It's a simple concept, but it's something that many people overlook or ignore, thinking that avoiding discomfort will make their lives easier. But in reality, avoiding the hard work, the tough decisions, and the uncomfortable moments only piles on more difficulties in the future. Every time you take the easy route, you're simply postponing the consequences of that decision. It may feel better for the moment, but when you look back, you'll realize that those choices are what keep you stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled. The easy choice might be skipping your workout, choosing junk food over a healthy meal, putting off that important project, or avoiding the difficult conversation with a loved one or colleague. It's natural to want to avoid discomfort. No one likes feeling uncomfortable. But discomfort is where growth happens. When you push through the discomfort, that's where the magic is. Whether it's the discomfort of a hard workout, the discomfort of confronting someone about an issue, or the discomfort of making sacrifices in your personal life to reach your goals, it's all part of the process. Growth happens when you face challenges head-on, rather than avoiding them. Every time you avoid something difficult, you're telling yourself that you're not strong enough to face it. But every time you push through discomfort, you're proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. The easy choice is also the one that leads to procrastination. It's easy to say, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll start on Monday." The problem with procrastination is that it steals your time and holds you back from achieving your goals. You may feel like you're getting a break in the moment, but you're actually setting yourself up for more stress and anxiety later on. The longer you delay doing something, the more difficult it becomes. You build up resistance to it, and the task feels heavier and heavier the more you put it off. Eventually, the easy choice becomes the hardest one, because the weight of that unfinished task looms over you. On the flip side, making the hard choice, taking action even when it's uncomfortable, leads to progress. It's the small, difficult decisions made consistently over time that create a life of ease. Choosing to tackle the hard things first, to put in the effort now, pays off in the long run. It's not about making everything easy. It's about making the right choices, even when they're tough. You might think that choosing the difficult path means you'll be sacrificing your happiness or comfort. But the reality is, it's the choices you make in the present that will bring you lasting happiness. Short-term comfort often leads to long-term dissatisfaction. You may feel good for a moment, but that satisfaction fades quickly, leaving you back where you started, or even worse. When you make the hard choice, however, the satisfaction that comes from growth and accomplishment lasts much longer. It's not just about the immediate payoff. It's about building a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling in the long run. There's also something deeply empowering about making hard choices. Every time you choose the difficult path, you are strengthening your willpower, building discipline, and proving to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. The more you practice making hard choices, the easier it becomes to make them in the future. Over time, you develop a mindset that is focused on growth, achievement, and success. You begin to understand that the road to your goals is not always going to be easy, but that's what makes the journey worthwhile. It's important to recognize that making hard choices doesn't mean you're choosing a life of constant struggle or hardship. It means that you're making choices that align with your long-term vision. It's about finding balance between the hard things that lead to growth and the rewards that come with that growth. Making hard choices isn't about punishing yourself. It's about choosing what's best for your future, even when it's not the easiest option in the moment. As you go through life, you'll face countless moments where you have to make a decision. Some decisions will be small, like what to eat for lunch or what to watch on TV. But other decisions will be significant, like whether to take on a new challenge, pursue a new opportunity, or have a difficult conversation with someone. In those moments, remind yourself that the hard choice is often the one that will take you closer to the life you want. It's about thinking beyond the immediate discomfort and considering the long-term benefits. Every time you make the hard choice, you are moving toward the life you truly desire, one step at a time. The key to making better choices is having a clear understanding of your values and your goals. When you know what matters most to you, the hard choices become much clearer. You no longer have to second-guess yourself or wonder if you're making the right decision. If your goal is to get in shape, then the hard choice is waking up early to exercise, even when it's tempting to stay in bed. If your goal is to build a successful career, then the hard choice is putting in the extra hours and making sacrifices now for a better future. If your goal is to have strong, meaningful relationships, then the hard choice might be having those difficult conversations or addressing problems head-on rather than avoiding them. Knowing what you want in life makes it easier to choose the difficult path because you understand that those choices are the stepping stones to your dreams. Each day you are faced with decisions that will either take you closer to your goals or push them further away. You can either choose the easy path, the one that requires the least effort and the least discomfort, or you can choose the path that may be more difficult in the moment, but that will lead you to a brighter future. It's not about being perfect. It's about making the right choice more often than not. When you consistently make the hard choice, you start to create a life that is built on resilience, strength, and achievement. When you choose the hard path, you're choosing to take control of your life. You're choosing to shape your future with your own hands, rather than letting life happen to you. You're making the decision to face challenges head-on, knowing that the discomfort you experience now will lead to growth, success, and fulfillment later. The hard choice is never easy, but it's always worth it. Choose the hard path, and you will create the life you were meant to live. Chapter 12. Learn to be ruthless about what and who you cut out. In the journey of life, there are certain things and people that are just not meant to come along with us. This isn't about rejection or negativity, it's simply about growth and alignment. If you want to move forward, you need to make space for what truly matters, and that often involves cutting things out, whether it's a bad habit, a toxic environment, or relationships that are holding you back. We are constantly bombarded by distractions, and most of them don't contribute anything meaningful to our growth. Some distractions are obvious: people who drain your energy, habits that eat up your time, or situations that bring you no closer to your goals. But there are also subtler distractions, the ones that look like opportunities or seem harmless, yet they ultimately leave you in a holding pattern. You must be able to identify these distractions and be ruthless in cutting them out of your life. This isn't easy. The idea of cutting something or someone out often brings up feelings of guilt, fear, or uncertainty. It's natural to want to hold on to things that have been part of your life, even if they aren't serving you anymore. But the truth is, in order to grow, you must be willing to let go of what no longer serves your purpose. Think about it like pruning a tree. The tree can't grow fully if it's weighed down by dead branches. The same goes for your life. You can't reach your full potential if you're carrying around things that are keeping you stuck in the past, or people who are pulling you in the wrong direction. It's important to distinguish between what is truly valuable and what's just filling space. Sometimes we hold on to things out of habit or fear. We keep doing the same thing because it's comfortable, or we continue to spend time with people because we feel obligated, even though they bring us no real joy or support. But comfort and obligation can be the very things that prevent you from stepping into the next phase of your life. Comfort keeps you stuck in the past, and obligation keeps you from pursuing what's best for you. You have to develop the courage to make these cuts, to say no to the things that are not helping you grow. It's not about being harsh or unkind. It's about being clear on your goals and your vision for the future. Every person or thing you let go of creates space for something better to enter your life. When you free yourself from the weight of things that no longer serve you, you open yourself up to new opportunities, better relationships, and the freedom to become who you're meant to be. It's not just about physical clutter, either. Emotional baggage can be just as heavy. We all carry emotional weight from past experiences, past relationships, or even past versions of ourselves. Letting go of this emotional baggage is just as important as cutting out the people or habits that hold you back. Holding on to old hurts, regrets, or negative self-talk keeps you stuck in the past, unable to move forward. When you start letting go of the emotional clutter, you make room for growth, healing, and progress. One of the hardest things to cut out is toxic relationships. These are the relationships that drain your energy, undermine your confidence, or leave you feeling worse about yourself. You may have people in your life who don't believe in you, who criticize you, or who are simply not supportive of your goals. It's easy to hold on to these relationships because of history, family ties, or guilt. But if someone's negativity is holding you back, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. It's not about cutting people out just because they disagree with you or don't understand your journey. It's about cutting out the people who consistently undermine your well-being and your growth. People who are toxic or draining will only keep you in a state of limitation, and that's not a place where you can thrive. The same goes for bad habits. You don't have to overhaul your entire life at once, but you do need to start taking an honest look at the things you do every day that are not serving you. Habits are the small things you do consistently, and they have a massive impact on your life. If you're constantly putting things off, making excuses, or indulging in behaviors that don't align with your goals, it's time to make a change. These habits can be as small as spending too much time on social media, procrastinating on important tasks, or skipping workouts. They add up over time, and before you know it, they are part of the fabric of your life, shaping the person you are and the life you're living. When you commit to cutting out these habits, it's not about perfection, it's about being intentional and taking consistent action toward what truly matters. The more intentional you are, the more you'll start to notice how these habits have been holding you back. By cutting them out, you create space for better habits, habits that will propel you forward instead of keeping you stuck. It's also important to consider the environments you're in. The people you spend time with, the places you frequent, and the overall atmosphere of your life play a huge role in your growth. If you're constantly in environments that are negative, unmotivating, or unhealthy, it's time to make a change. You have the power to shape your environment to support your growth. That might mean distancing yourself from certain places or situations, or even finding new groups of people who inspire and uplift you. Cutting out the things that no longer serve you can feel scary at first, but it's essential for your growth. Sometimes, the fear of letting go is greater than the fear of staying stuck. But remember, the hardest part is often the first step. Once you begin to make cuts, whether it's with people, habits, or environments, you'll start to feel lighter, more focused, and more empowered. You don't need to carry around the weight of things that are no longer serving you. When you cut out the distractions, the toxic relationships, and the bad habits, you're making room for the things that truly matter: your goals, your dreams, your vision for the future. The more you free yourself from what doesn't serve you, the more you make space for what will elevate you. This isn't just about cutting things out for the sake of cutting things out. It's about consciously removing what isn't aligned with who you want to become. It's about clearing the path for growth and progress. Each time you let go of something that doesn't serve you, you're choosing yourself. You're choosing the future you want to create, and you're making space for the new opportunities and experiences that will get you there. The act of cutting out what no longer serves you isn't just a one-time thing, it's an ongoing process. As you continue to grow, new distractions will present themselves, and new people will come into your life. The key is to stay aware of your goals, your values, and your vision. Always ask yourself, is this person, this habit, this situation helping me move toward the life I want? If the answer is no, it's time to cut it out and make room for something better. As you start to clear the clutter, both physically and emotionally, you'll notice that your life becomes simpler, more focused, and more aligned with your true purpose. You'll find that the more you cut out, the more you make room for what really matters. In this space, you'll be able to create a life that reflects who you truly are, free from the distractions, habits, and relationships that once held you back. The power to transform your life lies in your ability to remove what's not helping you grow. Don't be afraid to cut out what no longer serves you. The space you create by doing so will be filled with the opportunities, experiences, and people that are meant to help you reach your fullest potential. Chapter 13. Build skills, not just dreams. You can dream all you want, but nothing will come of it unless you take action. Dreaming without taking the steps to bring those dreams into reality is like planting a seed and never watering it. If you don't water the seed, it won't grow. It's as simple as that. The seeds of your dreams need consistent, nurturing care and real effort to bloom into something that adds value to your life. This is where building skills comes into play. Dreams can be powerful. They provide us with direction, inspire us to be better, and keep us moving forward when times get tough. But dreams are just that. Dreams, they are abstract concepts, intangible ideas, and they only live in our minds. If you want them to become something more, you need to turn those dreams into a concrete reality. You need to translate your aspirations into skills that will take you from where you are now to where you want to be. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the future, of what could be. But the truth is, no dream ever became a reality by wishful thinking. You have to equip yourself with the tools and skills necessary to achieve what you want. And the best part is, these skills are within your reach. It's not about being born with talent or having a special gift. It's about learning, improving, and showing up every day to put in the work. Consider the many people you admire, the ones who seem to effortlessly accomplish the things you wish you could. Most likely, these people didn't get to where they are because they were born with an extraordinary ability or because things fell into their laps. They got there because they developed skills, made consistent efforts, and stayed focused on their goal. They understood that success is the product of time and effort, not luck or chance. In a world that's obsessed with quick fixes, instant gratification, and overnight success stories, it's easy to forget that true success is built over time. It's the result of continuous, incremental improvement. You don't need to go from zero to hero overnight. The key is to start where you are, build on what you know, and improve each day. Focus on becoming 1% better than you were yesterday. These small, consistent improvements build up over time and lead to major progress. One of the biggest mistakes people make is chasing after the wrong things. They see someone who is successful and think, "I want that." They focus on the end result without considering the process that got that person there. It's important to remember that the people you admire have put in countless hours, years even, to develop the skills that make them good at what they do. You can't bypass that process. No one can. Building skills isn't just about learning new things, it's also about improving existing ones. Many people make the mistake of thinking that they have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to personal development. They feel like they need to learn everything from scratch or chase after the next big trend. But in reality, improvement often comes from honing what you already know. You don't need to be an expert in everything. Instead, focus on mastering one thing at a time and watch how those skills compound. Take time to assess where you currently are. What skills do you already have? What areas can you improve? Instead of trying to learn everything at once, focus on the skills that will move you closest to your goal. This doesn't mean you ignore everything else, but you prioritize what matters most. It's about being strategic with your time and effort. When you focus on building skills, you're not just increasing your knowledge, you're also strengthening your confidence. Confidence doesn't come from pretending to know everything. It comes from competence, the ability to trust in your own skills and capabilities. The more you improve and grow, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. It's also important to remember that skill building is a long-term commitment. There will be days when you feel like you're not making any progress. You'll encounter setbacks, obstacles, and frustrations. But the key is persistence. You have to be willing to stick it out, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. The road to success is rarely straight. It's filled with bumps, detours, and challenges. But each challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. The more you face these obstacles, the more resilient you become. Over time, what once felt impossible will become second nature. In the beginning, skill building may seem like a grind. You may not see immediate results, and you might start questioning whether it's all worth it. But trust me, every small step you take is adding up. What you're doing today is building the foundation for tomorrow. The effort you put in now will pay off down the line. Don't let impatience derail your progress. Stay consistent, and eventually you'll see the fruits of your labor. It's also important to seek out mentors, peers, and environments that support your growth. While you are the one who has to put in the work, you don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, encourage you, and push you to be better. Look for role models who have already walked the path you want to take. They've been where you are, and they can offer valuable insights, advice, and support. Whether it's through books, podcasts, online courses, or face-to-face interactions, tap into resources that will help you grow. One of the greatest things about skill building is that it's never too late to start. You don't need to be in your 20s to develop new skills. No matter where you are in life, you have the ability to learn and improve. Your past doesn't define your future, and your current situation is not a reflection of your potential. You can always get better, and you can always start today. In a world that constantly tries to sell you shortcuts, the most valuable thing you can do is embrace the process. Success isn't about taking shortcuts. It's about putting in the time, effort, and commitment to develop the skills you need to reach your goals. It's about showing up day after day, learning from your mistakes, and continuing to push forward. If you want to live the life you've dreamed of, you have to put in the work. It won't always be easy, and it won't always be fast. But each skill you build, each small step forward, brings you closer to that vision of success. The more you improve, the more capable you become. And over time, you'll realize that you're not just dreaming about success, you're living it. Chapter 14. Get comfortable being the underdog. Sometimes, the path to success isn't about being the loudest, the most popular, or the one with the grandest plan. It's about being the one who shows up consistently, even when the world around them doesn't seem to notice. Success often comes to those who are comfortable staying in the shadows, doing the work when no one is watching, and embracing the fact that they're not always going to get the applause or recognition they might want. This is the quiet strength of the underdog, and it's one of the most powerful tools you can wield as you pursue your goals. There's something uniquely empowering about being the underdog. You're not burdened by expectations. You're not weighed down by the pressure of having to meet a standard that others have set for you. You have the freedom to define your own path. The underdog isn't concerned with being first or having the loudest voice in the room. They're focused on doing the work. They understand that true strength lies not in the attention they garner, but in the persistence they show day after day. What you'll notice about underdogs is that they're not afraid of the hard work that comes with being at the bottom. They're comfortable with the struggle. They know that this is where the real progress is made, where the foundation is built, and where their future success will take root. It's easy to dream of being the person on top, but the truth is, the most meaningful growth happens in the moments when no one is watching. In those quiet, uncelebrated hours, the underdog is laying the groundwork for something great. You can't fear being the underdog. You have to embrace it. There's power in knowing that, for now no one expects you to be the best. The world doesn't place you on a pedestal, and that's okay. You're not defined by others' expectations. You're only defined by your willingness to keep moving forward when others might quit. You have the freedom to take small steps, to make mistakes without the eyes of the world scrutinizing every move, and to learn at your own pace without the pressure of living up to someone else's